Love pets? So do we. Subscribe now to join AnimaLand. Hey AnimaLand explorers! If you live with a cat or are thinking about adopting one, it's super important to know about the basic care they need, as well as the health problems they can develop. Just like any living creature, cats can suffer from various illnesses. And that's what we're going to talk about in this new AnimaLand video: the 10 most common cat diseases and health problems. But before we dive into the list, we want to remind you to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next videos. First up is feline leukemia, or FeLV. This is a viral disease in cats caused by an oncornavirus, which essentially means it's a type of cancer. It's transmitted through contact with bodily fluids like saliva, blood, and urine, or even during gestation or lactation. The virus affects the white blood cells of the animal's immune system, leaving the cat with fewer defenses and a higher risk of contracting infections and complications. It's one of the most serious diseases due to its easy transmission and the damage it causes, often leading to death. The symptoms of feline leukemia are quite varied, depending on the animal's general health, but the most common ones include fever, loss of appetite, weight loss, skin lesions, gastrointestinal problems, and swollen lymph nodes. Next, we have Feline Panleukopenia, or FPL. This disease is caused by a parvovirus that's somewhat related to the canine parvovirus. It's also known as feline distemper, or infectious gastroenteritis. Infection occurs through contact with bodily fluids from an infected cat. Common symptoms include fever followed by hypothermia, vomiting, diarrhea, depression, weakness, dehydration, and anorexia. Blood tests can show a significant drop in white blood cells, or leukocytes. This is a deadly disease, which is why we need to quickly separate any sick cat from others that could be contagious. Moving on to feline viral rhinotracheitis, or FVR. In this case, the virus causing the disease is a herpes virus. The virus remains in the airways, causing respiratory tract infections. Between 45% and 50% of respiratory diseases in cats are caused by this virus. Symptoms include fever, sneezing, nasal discharge, conjunctivitis, teary eyes, and even corneal ulcers. It's contagious through contact with fluids like nasal secretions and saliva. This disease can be prevented with proper vaccination, but there's no specific treatment for the disease itself. Only the symptoms are treated. Cured. Felines become carriers. While they no longer show symptoms, they continue to host the virus and can infect other cats. Next, Feline Calicivirus, or FCV. This feline viral disease is caused by a picornavirus. Symptoms include sneezing, fever, excessive salivation, and even ulcers and blisters in the mouth and on the tongue. An affected animal that manages to recover from this disease becomes a carrier, able to transmit it later. Both the herpes virus and feline calicivirus can cause what we call cat flu. The most common symptoms of this respiratory disease are fever, sneezing, nasal and eye discharge, loss of appetite, depression, mouth breathing, and excessive salivation. In some cases, they can also have mouth ulcers. Then there's chlamydia, caused by a microorganism known as Chlamydia psittaci, which produces a series of infections. These microorganisms are intracellular parasites that are transmitted through direct contact with bodily fluids and secretions. It's not a deadly disease in itself, but to avoid complications that could result in death, your cat should see a vet as soon as possible to start treatment. Symptoms of feline chlamydiosis include excessive tearing, conjunctivitis, painful and reddened eyelids, abundant eye discharge that can be yellowish or greenish, sneezing, fever, coughing, nasal discharge, and loss of appetite, among others. This one is also known as feline AIDS. Its transmission usually happens during fights and reproduction, since it's transmitted through the bite of an infected cat to another. The symptoms that make owners suspect this disease include an absolute depression of the immune system and opportunistic secondary diseases. These secondary diseases are what ultimately cause the death of the sick cat. Generally, specialists haven't yet found an effective vaccine, but some cats develop resistance to this disease by already being in contact with cats that are infected with the virus. The virus that causes this disease is a coronavirus that mostly affects young cats and, again, older cats. It's mainly spread through the feces of infected cats. If a healthy cat sniffs it, the virus enters through their respiratory tract. The most common symptoms include fever, anorexia, increased abdominal volume, and fluid accumulation. This happens because the virus attacks white blood cells, causing inflammation of the membranes in the thoracic and abdominal cavity, meaning it occurs in the pleura, causing pleurisy, and affects the peritoneum, causing peritonitis. There is a vaccine against this disease, but once it's contracted, there is no cure, and it can be deadly. Obesity is a very common problem in domestic cats and can lead to serious consequences, even shortening their life expectancy. Generally, neutered cats tend to suffer more from these problems, but any cat can develop it without a balanced diet or with a sedentary lifestyle. So far, studies show a correlation between obesity in cats and the onset of diseases like diabetes, respiratory insufficiency, liver problems, urinary tract problems, and an increase in bad cholesterol levels. This refers to an alteration in kidney function. It's a disease that can be managed but not cured. Generally, kidneys filter and eliminate harmful substances from the body through urine. When there's a failure in the system, it's called kidney failure. Among the most common causes, we can mention kidney problems due to toxins or poorly administered medications, polycystic kidney disease, which is hereditary and common in Persian cats, tumors, elderly cats over 15 years old, and bacterial infections. The main symptoms of kidney failure are loss of appetite and weight, increased thirst, increased frequency of urination, depression, vomiting, diarrhea, pale mucous membranes, dehydration, hair loss, and bad breath. So, can we prevent these diseases? Absolutely. Most of the diseases and problems mentioned here can be avoided with preventive medicine, vaccination, and deworming. And of course, at the first sign of any symptom, seek a specialist. That's it for today's AnimaLand video. We hope it was helpful to you. If you have something to say, write it in the comments. If you liked it, give the video a thumbs up, and until the next video, thanks.